Joining us now, she is the head coach at Long Beach State. She's a Hall of Famer there, of course, fresh off a conference championship and another trip to the NCAA tournament in a year where she won her 500th game as head coach. A lot of big year, milestone year. Kim Sowder joining us here on the show. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for having me. I'm
Well,
excited to chat.
I'm excited for you and having you on because I wanted to talk to you about last year. You win 31 games. You win the Big West Championship in the final week of the season, sweeping Cal State Fullerton the second time in 3 years. You had to do that to make the NCAA tournament. You did that, and then you go get sent to Palo Alto, which we'll get into. You play two tough games, including a one-run loss to the eventual World Series participant in Stanford. When you look back at last year, what comes to mind?
Just gosh, super proud of our team and just was really neat to see our team pretty much grow every weekend as a team and get better. And I think it really showed up in the last weekend. I think the thing that we were most excited about, obviously winning the championship, but the way our team went about things in that series and kind of how we felt as a team. We weren't focused so much on the results, as it was more of just kind of playing one pitch at a time, trusting it, enjoying it, and really never got too high or low in that series. We got a lead and kind of knew we had work to do, and made some mistakes and didn't panic and really kind of stayed middle of the road, which is something that we always shoot to do in our program. So we did it the best the last weekend, but I was telling the team that doesn't just show up in that situation for 3 games straight. It's something that we worked hard all season for and really built that trust within each other. And we were good with going out and giving our best. And I think it's what made the team feel just kind of played relaxed almost in that series.
I know it's not the way you would have scripted it. You would have preferred to have it maybe wrapped up earlier. Definitely not to the scenario where you have to sweep a very good Fullerton team, which we'll get into later. Actually, still made the NCAA tournament, but it's the second time in the 3 years that you've pulled this off, where you needed a sweep against them the last weekend to win the title, and you did it. You did it in 21. You did it in 23. How do you compare those two?
Wow. Both were equally exciting. The first time it's like, can we pull something like this off? Can we really do this? And just kind of focus one game at a time. And again, I told our teams going into both of those, you're not in this position right now because you haven't earned to be here. We had to have really good seasons. We only lost 2 games in all of conference in 21 going into that series. So it wasn't like we had to have the biggest upset of, in time. It just, I mean, all respect, Fullerton is an incredibly tough program, and we have we have so much respect for them, and but it was something that we felt like we earned to be in that series and compete for that. And we knew whichever team played better softball that weekend was going to have a shot. So kind of the same thing. We had to battle, and Fullerton had such great years. I mean, we were just having to compete with the pressure on all season to have an opportunity at the end to compete for a conference championship. So just something really hard to do, and just super proud. They were great weekends for us, so equally special.
Did 2021 come up during the week leading up to last year's series? Did the obviously had some players that were part of the 21, which probably helped in that.
Absolutely. Yes, we definitely they that's something whoever was part of it will never forget, and remembered what a great experience. We knew it could be done. And we knew you can only play one game at a time and win one at a time. So really that was our focus. And like I said, I was just really happy with how our team never, got overly excited. I mean, we were excited inside, but I mean they knew they had work to do and they wanted it, and were able to compose themselves, which was great.
So you win the championship. So now you know you're going to watch the selection show knowing you're in. But you
Yes.
don't know if Fullerton is in or not. And they had a great resume, and that could have gone either way. So I'm fascinated from your perspective as someone who's not only obviously representing your program, but representing the Big West. Take me through that selection night. What were you expecting for your team? And did you think Fullerton would get in or not? Because it turned out to be really dramatic for them, more specifically than you. But still, that had to be a unique night.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's nice it's a little more relaxing knowing that you're in for sure. And we were just really pulling for Fullerton to get in. I mean, we've been fighting to get two teams back into the postseason, and I truly thought they deserved it. They had a tremendous season, and just a great ball club. So I had a good feeling that they would get in, but you never know. And when we neither of us popped up at UCLA, it was like, whoa, maybe, it was a little bit of a scare and concern, because that's somewhere that usually one of us is at. So that was pretty awesome to see that change, and see neither of us there, just for a different experience for sure.
That's a great point because I remember watching that when UCLA came up and neither one of you there. I was stunned because I think, we've talked about this in the past when you've been on about kind of the predictability of, hey, where you're going. And I think everybody assumed that one of you would go to UCLA, the other would go to Stanford.
Right.
And it just really did not happen. You're like, oh, and I think everybody, myself included, thought that's not good news for Fullerton.
Yeah.
And because I had both of them in, so I have my bracket, so I'm kind of rooting for them to get in because I want to be right on the pick. But I think they earned it. I thought they earned it, as you would know, having played them with the resume they built. And so you then pop up then at Stanford, and I think everybody at that point assumed, oh, they're out, until it turns out they get in at Clemson. When you, did you focus? Did you still pay attention? Because obviously you were excited at that time. You knew where you were going. You're going to Stanford. Did you still keep an eye on it to see if Fullerton would get in, or did you just assume they were out?
Oh, no, no, no. We're watching till
So
the
you stay
end,
through it.
and
Okay.
absolutely fighting, and hoping they got in, because I really they had a really, really strong year, and I thought they deserved to be in for sure. So no, we watched the whole thing to the very end, and we're really excited to get two teams back in.
Two teams into the NCAA tournament, plus two teams that make the NIC with the job Charlotte Morgan did at CSUN and then UC Davis. What a year. I thought it was one of the best years that I can remember in the Big West. The race throughout the year was neck and neck between you, Cal State Fullerton, CSUN was in it, UCSB with the job Joe Evans did, UC Davis. Describe the year as someone who's been in the league a long time that year, because I was fascinated by the race each week. Every week had meaning.
Yes, it definitely just a big jump, huge improvement with our teams. I just think that, Charlotte's done a heck of a job at CSUN, and UC Davis, they're always tough. And then Joe Evans came in, and I just think top to bottom everybody was better. It was good. It was good for our conference, and I love the direction that we're heading in. I think we're going to be even better this next season for sure. So a lot of teams were young last year. So I see it continuing to get better and better.
Was that the big conversation among the coaches, is to build on that momentum to continue to now be consistently a multi-bid league? I know you're all working on having a conference tournament in the future, which you're hoping in part will help that.
Yes, yes, we've definitely been trying to get that conference tournament for many, many years. So next, not this season, but in 25 will be the first year of having the conference tournament. So we're really excited to have that, and I think it just will help our conference stay competitive all season long, with knowing a lot of these teams, having it, we have an opportunity. If you're not at the top, or it's tough to stay motivated, and keep your teams going once you don't have that shot. So this will definitely make our conference better, without a doubt. So
How close are you all to finalizing the format and maybe who's hosting and how all that? How close is that to being finalized?
I think that it's getting close. I'm pretty sure it is somewhat finalized. It just hasn't been announced yet. So I'm not sure when things can be said.
Sure.
So but yeah, it's definitely just in the past few weeks they met on it, and the ADs, and made some final decisions, I believe. I haven't been, shared that information yet. So, but yeah, it's happening.
That's
It's
good. That's
happening.
exciting.
And, I don't know if it's going to be 6 teams, or, I think that's what a lot of us would like. So, um, that's, something that we're shooting for.
Well, and I think it's exciting because it does help the chances of being a multi-bid league, maybe give that team that finished second an opportunity, et cetera. I mean, we saw how it paid off for the Pac-12, even with Utah making that run, winning the conference tournament they got to host. They could make that similar dividends for the Big West to get 2 or 3 teams into the field.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and a big change for us, and how you kind of go about in the conference, and finishing up knowing that's going to be the automatic qualifier there. So it'll be good change.
Palo Alto, you lose 2 1-run games, low scoring, well pitched games against Stanford, and we saw what they ended up doing at the World Series, and then a really good LMU team. What do you want the returners, because you and from that last year, to take from that experience in the Palo Alto Regional to this year?
Yeah, I think, we fell short, and we, weren't able to put some runs on the board. But I think our team, even though we lost 2 and we were disappointed with that, I felt like we liked the way we played. We played really, really good defense. I mean, really solid. Our pitchers did well. Really gave ourselves a lot of opportunities, and squared some balls up in situations, and just didn't get lucky, and didn't find a way to put those runs on the board. But I feel like we felt good about everything, but maybe the result. And I think the team walked away as a young team, feeling very hungry for this upcoming season, knowing we're right there. It's just, believing, and getting a little better, and hopefully getting some, key punches. And but yes, we did fall short, but we felt like we played really good in most areas of the game.
I remember we talked after the 2021 season, and you talked about all the youth you had on the roster because you lost the core of that team. It's such a veteran team, especially in the circle. So you had a lot of more questions going into that fall before the 22 season. This year, though, it's different because you've got the core coming back. You got 8 starters coming back from last year, including 3 of your starting pitchers. Just talk about this roster and the experience you have now after experiencing the success you had last year.
Yeah, we have a lot of experience, like you said, and almost most of our starters returning, and I think this team is just hungry. We they came in, and we've been having meetings, and just talking about how we want to get better, how we want to compete, continue to compete at the highest level, and really stay hungry to be at that highest level and compete for another championship. And it's exciting. It's exciting, and I think they're taking what they learned from last year and just trying to improve on that and continue to kind of every year's a new year. We got new players. It's a new dynamic. We have players in a little bit more of a leadership role. So it's a big process. It's always, it takes time. It takes the whole entire year to kind of continue to grow. And ideally, you want to be your best at the end, but it doesn't always happen that way. It's not easy. It's a tough sport. And it's, you got to be selfless and give up a lot and continue to grind it out. So this team's excited. They're excited, and we're just trying to put it, get the new players meshed in and see who we are this year. It's always different.
It is always different. You mentioned you got 8 new faces on the roster, new players. What's the key to making sure that chemistry and that bond when you have half the roster is veterans coming back, but you have 8 new faces you got to blend in?
Yeah, I think you got to put the time in to get to know each other and get to know people first, over the player. And we do a lot of stuff. We match them up with someone on the team, and they have to go and either study or go to lunch or do something, and they have certain questions that they have to kind of find out about each other, and then they come back and they share it with the team. So they'll get up and talk about their partner and kind of share it. And we do that every so many weeks. And you really get to know a little bit more about each other. And I just think practice, really putting together a lot of workouts where it's team based, and you got to work this together, and you got to get 21 together, and you got to keep doing it until you get it, and kind of talking about relating it to the season, and what kind of prepare as much as you can for when that adversity hits. We know we've talked about this, we're ready for it, we have a plan. And you have to, it's so much fun to play as a team and a power. There's nothing more exciting than having a team together and going in the same direction. It's so much fun. So we do put a lot of time in meetings and working on shared the Twin Thieves book. We've already gone over as a team this fall, and we'll do a few more things. And just communication is a big part, and a vision. So
Obviously, winning is important. That's what you thrive for. That's what you strive for on the team. But I get a sense from you that you enjoy equally the process of building a team and building and that development of players. Am I accurate in the describing you there?
absolutely. Well, I think that's what it's all about. Everyone has a lot of the softball talent, but I mean, we're here to build people. The better people you have, the better players are going to be, the better teams you're going to get. So I think we're all lucky to be a part of this sport. It's just the life skills you learn from a tough sport like softball. It's the best education out there, I think. And so it's our job to really try to teach and use our sport and teach life skills and tools. And it's very rewarding to be at the work with players for 4 or 5 years at such a vulnerable time of their life, and so much change and growing up and adults in training kind of. It's just fun to watch, and I love seeing that.
Who influenced you to get into coaching? Who's been a big influence throughout your career?
I just grew up in sports. I had 2 older brothers, and I loved it. I played every sport. I mean, my whole life. It was just my dad coached me throughout my life, and both my mom and dad were a part. And I think once, as far as softball goes, once it got serious for me was Larry Mays. I was recruited to the Gordon's Panthers. Didn't even really know what travel ball was at the time, and was asked to play, be a part of that program, and kind of mentioned it to some people. I'm like, they want me to drive 30 minutes to play softball. I'm like, are you, well, they're like, that's actually a pretty good team. You shouldn't pass up that opportunity to go and be a part of that and try out. And that changed my life for sure. Met all of my best friends in that program and just got to compete at the highest level with some of the best athletes in the game. And just Larry, can't thank him enough for giving me that opportunity. Yeah, Norm Perez, Mike Inouye, all of them. Jesse Flores,
Good
Coach.
list.
Yeah, yeah. So it was probably the biggest impact, and just loved it. I played at Long Beach State, and after I got done, I played in it was like an exhibition professional league, and Mark Eldridge from Palomar was my coach, and talked with him for a while about what I was interested in, and had mentioned coaching, and we talked for a while, and he kind of got me in touch with Brian Colsey,
Yeah.
and that's how I got into coaching. So yeah,
That's right.
very much.
Brian Cozy's been a lifer there at Pacific. That's a
Yes.
pretty good tree there with yourself and then Heather Tarr, Sydney Ball Malone. I mean, that's a pretty good tree, all like in that Pacific staffs there that he's had.
Yeah.
Gina Carbonado, among others, that he's played there as well and coach.
Yes. So thankful. Brian's a great person. What a wonderful man and coach. So
You mentioned a player. You're selling yourself short. You're arguably one of the greatest players in the history of the program. You hold still some of the most significant records. You were an All-American while there. How are you different now as a coach than you were as a player? Like if I put you and the player side of you in the same room, how would that go?
I think I'm just I'm a little wiser now. I have a little more, understand the mental part of the game a lot more. The mental part of the game wasn't um coached up as much, talked about when I played. You just went out there and competed, and you got to be tough and grind it out. And I think just I don't want to say, I mean, I've always been positive, but I think as a player, I really, really upset at myself if I wasn't, getting the job done or something like that. And, as a coach now, I wish I would have been able to kind of, stay right here, respect the game more, understand that how difficult it was, and just better knowledge of the whole game, I guess. And really staying, but still super competitive. That's why I do sports. That's why I love coaching. It's a big part of it. But I would just say, as a coach, you have to understand a lot of, you got to be adaptable, and just understand people. And yeah, I don't know. I just the whole mindset thing,
Sure.
of, maybe not beating myself up so much.
What sport? I feel like if you weren't in softball, you'd still be playing a sport or coaching a sport. Does that ring a bell? Would you be like, if softball was not in your life, would you be coaching or playing other sport? Like you had to do something competitive, it feels like.
Yeah, I definitely, soccer actually
Okay.
was my favorite sport growing up. I absolutely loved it. It was my best sport. And there wasn't as many opportunities at that time with soccer as there was with softball. There may have been one club team that I even knew of for soccer, and softball there was 10. It was so I just got this opportunity. I loved them both, but that's when I kind of had to make the decision. I still was able to play soccer and in high school and do all that, but yeah, I definitely would be in sports one way or another, without a doubt.
Talking about your current team, you mentioned obviously. Let's start with some of the returners. Who are some names that people will get to know more and that you're curious about as far as their continued development and growth that they will contribute to this team, either as a leader, from a leadership standpoint, or just from a production standpoint?
Yeah, I think people got to know her last year as she led our team in hitting, but she's stronger this year. She's hungry, she loves the game, and she really wants to compete at that high level as Sarah Olson. She's, an outfielder that I think had at least 5 games saving catches last year, if not more, and some big hits for us. She's already caught a couple over the fence in fall ball, robbed a couple home runs. So she's just, she's real focused and just really maturing and in her final year. So really looking forward to Sarah's season and our entire pitching staff. I think we have our 3 returners that had the most innings for us coming back, 4 returners total. So I'm excited to see what all 3 of them do together as a unit. Shannon, Sophia, and Erica. Jacqueline Bakar. She's heading into her junior year, and she's gotten better each year. She's somebody everybody recognizes on the field. She's a determined athlete. She finds a way to make plays, great speed, just a clutch hitter and quiet, very quiet, but definitely speaks loudly with the way she plays the game, I guess. But so Jacqueline Bakar, I'm excited to see what Michaela Median does this season. She had a great freshman year for us, filling that 3 spot, which we kind of really didn't know who was going to hit in that spot. And I think she had our lone RBI in the postseason and just had a lot of clutch hits for us last year. So with another year under her belt and how hard she's working, I'm excited to see her this year. And then Carly Robbins. Carly Robbins is another leader for us. Just hard worker, knows the game really well, speaks up a lot, played almost every game at third base for us, and I'm excited to see her. And really, we return our whole infield, so that makes me happy. So
I'll say so. And of course, Michaela was the Big West Freshman of the Year
yes,
last year. But how big is that to have that experience pitching back and the infield back? Because you and I have talked in the past. It seemed like every time you would win a conference title, the next year I'd be talking to you like, we got to replace our pitcher, we got to replace our infield. We got to. But you've got that core back. That's big.
that is big. So we've got everyone. I feel like our defense is they're tough. We were tough to score on, I felt like, and we have a lot of confidence in our defense, and so we're just really trying to really continue to work hard and be hungry to keep improving and getting better and definitely not being satisfied. So we haven't won back-to-back conference championships in a very long time. I think since 07-08. And so it's something that, we've talked about, and just you gotta be hungry to do that, and you gotta, continue to put in the work and do what it takes right now. So,
That 07, 08. You're taking me back now. 07, 08. I remember those. That was some of my favorite teams. You were a national seed, if I remember. One of the in 08, I want to say, but you were sent to Iowa. Is that accurate?
yeah, yes, we did not host. We were the number 1 seed in Iowa. So Yep.
That was a facility thing back there. Was that
That
what it
was,
was?
yes. We didn't have lights. We just got lights this year, which is huge for our program. So, yes.
I was gonna go right in that direction. That's a good way for you to you'll lead me in that direction because we've talked about the facility upgrades, which has been
Yes.
going on for years, and one of them being the lights,
Yes.
being a factor, not just for hosting regional, but hosting tournaments and things like that. So just give us an update on the facility upgrades there, because I know that's been in progress.
Yeah, the lights are a game changer. Definite game changer for us. We've had great crowds at our night games, and we play better. We play better under the lights now. I mean, we really do. It's a big difference. It's a big when you don't play all year under lights, and then you go to Fullerton and play a night game, and you haven't played a night game in 3 months. Maybe one tournament game. It's a big difference to see the ball off the bat on defensively, offensively. So I definitely think that it's helped us be a more consistent, better at night. We definitely are more comfortable in that. The crowds have been great, able to play Friday night games and, like you said, host tournaments. And hopefully, we'll get to add a tournament or two after this year. We still will host one, and then I think probably the biggest benefit is being able to host clinics and camps and do stuff like that for recruiting. So when you can only do things on your own campus and it's dark at 4 or 5, there's nothing you can really do when these players are in school. You're unable to have the hitting clinics and the fielding clinics at night, which we've been able to do starting in the spring once we got our lights. And that was, you just really get to know these recruits so much better.
Well, that's a great point. I forgot about that. Having that flexibility now, you could do more things. You're not limited, and like you mentioned there with camps and things, and of course even the tournaments. We've talked in the past. You've had to share the tournament at times because you had to move games to night, so you knew you weren't going to get them in. So somebody else would host a facility instead. I would imagine this will make it easier for you now to schedule teams to come here now, knowing you have lights and okay, we can just play here. We don't have to worry about playing here or elsewhere, etc.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly helps out, and we haven't had too much trouble getting teams out here. It's weather's always usually, knock on wood, pretty nice weather, and we have co-hosted with Fullerton. It just gives everyone a good mix of teams to play as well, and keeps the day shorter for everybody. They're only 20 miles away. So, which usually on the weekend it's a 20 to 30 minute drive. But so it's but yeah, it is nice to have that option and not have to hold your breath and hope the game gets over by 5 o'clock. And you know,
Yeah, no, I mean, and you're right. It's always one of the favorite destinations for tournaments, especially late February, early March. A lot of people are tuning in, following your tournaments because a lot of teams from the East Coast, marquee programs, are coming to your place, which that's always a big plus. And I'm sure that's part of also what you about as far as renovations for the stadium is. Do you want to keep that going, bringing those marquee programs?
yeah, absolutely. And hopefully the next thing we can do is get a bigger stadium and a little more seating, because our stands are definitely filled almost every game. So we're getting great crowds and filling the stadium. Being able to play these night games and has been a huge help. And yeah, we need to expand our seating. I think is one of the next top things on our list of things we would like to have done.
Well, 2028 is going to be really busy in the state of California when it comes to softball in particular now, because officially softball will be in the Olympics in Los Angeles, but in the state of California, we don't know where they're going to play and everything like that. But as somebody who lives in the state of California, well, and obviously involved in the sport, your reaction now to softball being back in the Olympics and being literally in the state of California in 2028.
Oh, it's beyond exciting, and just super grateful for everyone that fought to make this happen. And uh, so many so many dreams are reopened for so many young softballers out there. And gosh, yeah, we'd love to have a stadium built here and host the Olympics here if
Want to throw your hat? You can throw your hat out there. Go ahead.
if they need a spot. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. So, but yeah, super exciting. Can't wait for it.
That's going to be tremendous in 2028. Couple last things before I let you go. You mentioned obviously a lot of the new faces on this team. As they figure out their roles on the team, give us an idea what you're expecting from the new faces as far as what you hope they contribute to this team, and maybe either certain individuals contributing defensively or etc.
Yeah, I think we have, players. I think Kate Barnett will come in and certainly give us innings in the circle right away. Having 5 pitchers, there's no doubt we will utilize all 5 of them. And she's done well this fall. She's come in and been very competitive. And, I think she will certainly see time, as a freshman in the circle. So, I think, we'll have a little bit more speed off the bench. As far as just having we were pretty limited last year with that as far as having people be able to come off the bench. So we'll have some of those options, and then we have some players competing in the outfield, just learning to give us some depth, compete, learn from the veterans that are out there, and really kind of just be sponges and take it all in. I think Jocelyn Vidal will certainly help us, especially offensively as a 5th year coming in. She's got a lot of experience. And then Jaden as well. Barajas, transfer, will see time behind the dish. And those are all positions that, are still, being platooned, and we'll see who ends up. I think there'll be a few of them at each of those positions throughout the year.
Sounds like you like the depth here. Is this maybe the deepest roster you've had in a few years? At least one of them.
Yeah, it's certainly deeper, without a doubt, and just a lot of experience having this many returners and starters and pitchers in the circle. We've got a lot of experience back.
We talked about the league here at the Open. Like I said, I'm really excited. I mean, the Big West to me is one of the leagues I'm excited about in 24. I watch a lot of the games now on ESPN Plus late night when I get a chance. In all your years, do you feel this is the deepest the league has ever been, where the separation between the top team from your team to maybe the middle of the pack bottom is not that significant, maybe compared to past years?
Absolutely. Um, by far, as far back as I can remember, this is definitely the most even our conference has been. So I'm excited. It's going to be a battle every single weekend. I mean, more than ever, you're going to have to play good softball, and you can't just kind of just show up and expect to not to win without playing good softball. So all, like I said, the coaches have just have done a great job throughout our entire conference, and obviously Joe being the newest at Santa Barbara, what a great voice and just a great coach. And she's turned things around quickly and just elevated that program. So it's exciting. Iron sharpens iron.
I was gonna say, what's that? What is that like having Joe in that coach's room now when you have your meetings there? Where that's pretty significant. Part of this deep coaching. I mean, that's one of the better coaching rooms in the country, Coach. Just from a resume standpoint.
She's great. She's a great leader, and she's brought just a ton of great ideas, coming from the SEC, and just having the success that she's had. She's brought, a lot of great ideas and has a very strong voice. And, she's making us better. She's definitely making us better. And we're lucky to have her. And we're, everybody's excited right now in the conference of where our conference is going.
No doubt. A lot of great coaches, and you're one of them right there at the top, Coach. Always a pleasure to talk to you about softball, about your program, and everything going around the sport. Always appreciate you taking the time from the busy schedule. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck this upcoming season. And we'll definitely be in touch talking soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric. Appreciate it.